everybody, and welcome to Moms on a Mission. I want to share with you an incredibly effective skincare line called Organic Body Essentials. And with our guest who's going to be on later today, this is actually a really good product to talk about. My friend Vicky Natali created this company. She used to be an engineer. She really owned a device company. She could just not find a clean, toxic-free organic skincare line. And so she created one in her own kitchen sink. It's called Organic Body Essentials. She has over 34 different products. And they're all, I actually brought one to show you. They're all in these glass bottles. This one is called Elite Elixir, and it helps your immune system. You just take 2 droplets a day. And the whole line is just incredible. And I want to tell you, I'm not a big fan of change. But when I was introduced to her and I learned about this line, it is so clean and toxin free. And that's really hard. Even with some organic products, there still are some chemicals in there. And she makes this herself and puts them in glass containers, which we know we know plastic containers leak chemicals. So this line is called organicbodyessentials.com. Type in code MISSION and you'll get 5% off. That's organicbodyessentials.com, code MISSION. Our guest today, we've had her on before. She is an author, a blogger, a podcaster, and a TV host with over 43 years of health and fitness experience. She's been in that industry. She went from being Detroit's most physical female to barely being able to walk up a flight of stairs. She's going to discuss her new book called Killer House with information in it that could save your home, your health, and even your life. She's married to rocker Ted Nugent and mom to son Rocco. Please welcome back to Moms on a Mission, Shemane Nugent. Hey, Shemane.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate being here.
Thanks for coming back. For those who might not have listened to our first episode with you, or we chatted with you earlier about more about health and fitness, please tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Oh, how long do we have?
Yeah.
I pretty much do, I do a lot. And from hunting, I'm a bow hunter, to writing, I'm an author and I'm a podcaster. I have a show on Real America's Voice, and I produce a hunting show as well on Pursuit Channel. So I'm kind of all over the board, and I teach group fitness classes. And yeah, I'm one of those types of people where I just can't sit still.
Well, I think America is grateful for that because your experience has really helped on numerous levels. So, well, let's dive into your book. The last time we talked about a little bit, Killer House. Talk to us about how everything started. You shared in your book, Killer House, that how severely sick you were. What were the symptoms that you first noticed? And what did the doctors say?
Well, as you had mentioned, I was once named Detroit's most physical female, and I was teaching. I had my own aerobic studio back when we called it aerobics, and I was teaching 12 to 15 high intensity fitness classes per week. And I was getting debilitating migraines. That was the number one thing. I was popping pills for migraines like they were M&Ms, and I used to like M&Ms until I realized how many chemical dyes are in it. But there are natural versions of that. But I was taking far too many Imitrex pills per week. And as a result, I had some other side effects, insomnia, and I had what they call brain fog and just chronic fatigue. It was all I could do to get, through my fitness classes. I didn't know what was causing it. So while my husband was on a rock and roll tour, I pretty much went on a doctor tour. I went to everything from acupuncturist. I tried a lot of functional medicine. I did colonics. I went to an iridologist, and of course, medical doctors, migraine specialists, and nobody could give me any definitive answers. And when my husband and my son started getting sick as well, that's when I went, we gotta figure this out. And fortunately, it was a friend who had suggested that we go to a toxicologist to test our blood. And both Ted and I had 4 different types of mold in our bloodstream, which you shouldn't have. And I was also diagnosed with having pre-emphysema. And that toxicologist, I'll never forget it, he pulled out his little doctor prescription pad and started writing on it. And I thought, great, here's another prescription. What haven't I tried yet for migraines? How am I going to feel better? I was already eating kale before it was popular to eat kale. I was working out like a fiend. I had one doctor who told me, maybe you're too healthy. Maybe you should eat McDonald's and not work out so much. And
Wow.
what he wrote on that prescription pad shocked me and woke me up and changed my life. He wrote, "Get out of the house." And we did.
Wow. And you were expecting another chemical to put in your body. And that's exactly what you were doing, is you were needing to get away from the toxin. Where exactly did you guys find the mold in your house? So he tells you to get out of the house, but then do you need to, you're thinking maybe it can be remediated and be repaired?
Well, this was 20 years ago, so nobody was talking about mold. And that was the other problem. We did have the house tested 3 times. And the first 2 times, they said, I have the letter somewhere. "We're sorry for your migraines, Mrs. Nugent, but we found no mold." And meanwhile, we could see it. We were doing some remodeling, ripped up the carpeting, and the subfloor was almost rotted through with mold. And, so that a lot of things weren't adding up. And it was on us to, figure out what the next step was. And by this point, the toxicologist sent us to Connie Moorbach, who owns and runs a really incredible mold testing organization called Sanitaire. It's in Michigan. She came out with the hazmat suits on and everything and determined that we had 18 times the mold inside versus outdoors. That's why they do a test of indoors versus outdoors. You should have less mold on the inside. There's mold growing outside. We know that. But at that point, it was too far gone and we couldn't remediate it. It had gotten into the ductwork and it had gotten all over our clothes. Although you can't see it, one mold spore is 1/100th the size of human hair, and its natural defense mechanism is to propagate 1,000,000 times. So we got to the point where we just went, okay, we're leaving. And that's what happened.
Well, I wanted to talk to you. I wanted you to talk about that. So you did have to leave your house, but it was an MTV Cribs home. And I remember reading in the book, you were talking about how you had Ted and you had a big interview and you were curled up in this fetal position inside your motorhome outside of your house. So and Rocco was wanting to go in and get some toys
Yeah.
and you guys had to sit there. And I mean, how torturous. Not only are you dying inside, literally, but you're staring at your beautiful, brand new MTV Cribs home. And I think people think mold that it happens in older homes, but this was a brand new, gorgeous dream home. And then you had to go give an interview and you just rallied the troops. You pulled yourself together and did that. I mean, that had to have been so hard.
You know, it is. If I stop to really think about it, I might cry, but we all do the best we can. And, sometimes you just have to plow through things and not knowing where we're going to live. We had this commitment to film a reality show on our property and we got a fifth wheel. So we went from, an MTV Cribs home to putting a fifth wheel, parked it right outside our house on the driveway and filming the show for 2 weeks and just pretending that everything was great. You know, a lot of times moms do that as well. When they're not feeling so good inside, we just, power through it. We become actresses, I think. And you know what? It probably did save my life that I had a son to take care of because I had to get healthy so I could make his peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch or, tie his shoes or whatever it was. That gave me a reason to keep going and to stop focusing on myself and how sick I was. And I think a lot of times moms make excuses and we do power through things. And sometimes we do need to stop, take a breath, and really figure out what's going on with our health first. It's like the flight attendant says, put the oxygen mask on yourself
Right.
first before helping other people.
That's
We
right.
sometimes don't do that.
Yeah, that's so true for moms. Yeah. Well, and is it true? I felt like I read this in the book, but you talked about baby pictures and things like that in your home. Could you literally not take one thing out of the house?
No, I couldn't take a chance. By that time, I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs and I was on oxygen. And I think you get to the point when you get so sick. It's funny because you and I were talking about my dog, Happy, and he's recently been very, very ill. He's probably on his last leg, but he he won't eat the food that he was eating regularly before he got sick. He won't go near it anymore. So I think when the same thing is for humans, like, oh, I'm not taking anything from that house. I don't want it. I don't need it. It's not important. And I had a new Louis Vuitton handbag and, whatever other things. It doesn't matter when your health is involved. All you want to do is take a deep breath and get healthy, have a good night's sleep, and be able to have enough energy and quality of life to take care of your loved ones.
Yeah, like everything stops, right? Like everything that we think is important, like handbags or even photos. I
Yeah.
think moms really love these baby photos. And I mean, thankfully we're in a digital age now when it comes to that, so that they're saved on the phone or what have you. But I was envisioning myself in that fifth wheel myself with my son and thinking what that would be like to be so sick and think that it's like a fire, like you're losing
Yeah.
everything in your home. You can't go back in to get one thing. And I just I just applaud you because I'm so grateful that you wrote this book, Killer House, because and this is what I wanted to say. It's almost like a manual as you not only shared your story, but you also shared the various experts in Killer House with whom you spoke. And then also, which I find really incredible at the end, is not only is there a way to connect with you, but you also give opportunities. I'm going to show you guys this. I've never seen this in a book ever, but she says it's your turn. And so you start being your own investigative sleuth. Those are Shemane's words, quote unquote, investigative sleuth. And you start sharing your things. And then there's a recovery plan, and you can write that down as well. And it's a way that you can start helping yourself, your resources, and your journal. And that was one thing that stood out to me in the book, is how you are empowering people. Not only, I mean, some people just write Killer House to tell their story, and then that's good. But you clearly have a love for people, and you want to use your pain, and you want to use your survival and your relentless pursuit for health, and share with others and teach others how to do what you did.
Yeah. It's not, where I thought I'd be in my life, what I thought I'd be doing, but if this is a way that God can use me, then I'm good with that. It's like I said, it's not a glamorous topic, but I am really bowled over. I'm just so grateful for the day that it launched. It was number one in two different categories. I don't even know what it is now. I don't keep track of that, not because I mean, I did for a couple of weeks and it was number one for probably a month
Wow.
in chronic pain on Amazon. And I'm grateful, but a little sad because people don't have this information until now, and it's resonating with people. So I'm grateful and I'm humbled for all the support. And I love to help people. I'm a helper. I don't know if you know the Enneagram, but I'm a number two. I'm a
You
helper.
are too.
And
Oh,
yeah.
that would
And
explain it.
yeah, and I just sometimes when you don't know what to do, helping others is the next best thing. And I think more people, there's a lot of sadness and depression. I mean, I would go to so many doctors and they would, okay, are you this? Do you have this symptom, that symptom? Are you depressed? Well, yeah, I'm sick and I can't walk up a flight of stairs if my life depended on it. So that makes me depressed. But it's looking at every situation. Now I can look back at that and go, wow, I'm grateful for that experience, believe it or not, but even more so that I can share it with others and prevent them from going through what we did.
Yeah, and you spent hundreds and countless hours researching, and that's what I think is so great about this book, Killer House, is that you don't have to. I mean, yes, you do need to do some research, but she has done the brunt of it, and she's pioneered a way into this toxic killer mold. And so if you can just, when you buy this book, not only can you read her story, but she empowers you and teaches you how to start your own journey. And I think it's more prevalent than people think, just because you said like it's not really talked about. And doctors, and that was another thing, Shemane, I thought was really cool, is you had a chapter from your physician in there, a chapter from the air quality expert who came in to look at your house. And I thought that was really helpful too, just to not only back up what you're saying, but to share just their perspective, and we can learn from them as well.
I don't know if this is in the book, but my neurologist just happens to be Dr. David Perlmutter, or he's retired now, but in Naples, that was my neurologist. And we moved from the MTV Cribs house. We decided to move to Texas so I could be closer to the Environmental Health Center in Dallas, where I was getting functional medicine treatment that nobody else at the time was doing, like vitamin IVs and oxygen and things like that. And we were living in a house that was fine, but we did have a water leak. I'll never forget. It was on January 2012. I'm like, I got this. I know what to do. We had the water out within a couple of hours. The hot water heater burst, had the water out within a couple of hours, dry, everything dry. And we remediated it. We cut out the sheetrock. You could see straight through the house, cut out 3 feet. And about 6 months later, after we had moved back in, I started getting migraines again. And I went to my neurologist, Dr. David Perlmutter, and I told him all I did. I walked into the office. I'm like, I just getting these migraines again. What's going on? And he goes, well, did you have a water leak? And I said, yeah, but we fixed it. These were his words. I bet you missed a spot. Sure enough, I called the tester, a mold tester that by this time we knew and trusted, and found out that the people who were remediating that house at the time, didn't replace the interior floorboard. You have a wall, you have insulation in between it. They didn't replace the interior floorboard. So that was still soaking wet. So we had to redo it again. But I've just become a canary in a coal mine. I can walk into a house and go, you can't be here. Sorry. Have a nice day. And kind of back out.
So I'm glad you brought that up. That is in the book. And as I'm reading the book, I'm thinking, Shemane is relentless. She's a survivor, and you just can't keep a good woman down. I mean, I cannot believe, and you do talk about the spiritual attacks and how we don't fight against flesh and blood, but against principalities. And so, I mean, I believe that you have such a mighty call in your life that, the devil was trying to take you out. And really, I think most people would have naturally caved in any of those situations. I mean, not just the mold, but relationally, you shared some things about that in the book as well. And I just think of all these attacks, and it seemed like they were all coming at the same time, and one after another after another. And but I did want to ask you about the fact that, and this is just speaks to my lack of education, but what I found interesting in the book Killer House is that you mentioned that once that you are healed from the mold, or you have those 4 molds out of your body, that you're almost sensitized to natural substances like pollen or even other things that your body naturally would be able to handle. Now you're sensitized to these things.
Well, I got basically cleaned out at the Environmental Health Center. I, like I said, was doing vitamin IVs every day, infrared sauna every day, oxygen every day, massage, good part, every day. That was the good part. But to get the toxins out of my bloodstream, to get it out and change my diet. So what happened was, and when we went to this facility, I say we, but it was really me. When I went there, you couldn't get your hair and nails done. You couldn't wear makeup. You couldn't have leather products, because leather products are chemically treated and they off gas. So I literally became so cleaned out that when I got around somebody who was wearing clothes that were washed in Downy fabric softener or something like that, I could smell it a mile away. Maybe not a mile, but literally, I'll never forget. I went to a grocery store when I was first out of this facility. I stayed there for a month. And I remember smelling the cashier's Downy fabric softener on her clothes. And I'm going through the checkout. I could smell it. So yeah, you get, I think the the more desensitized you are to something, it creates this whole new world where you're just looking at everything differently. And it has almost a seventh sense on your body. Like if I walk into a room and I there's a chemically scented candle or the Downy fabric softener that people are washing their clothes with or whatever it is, I get a tightening in my whole body. Like my head starts, start to get that migraine feeling, and I feel this sensation like I got to go. And the other thing, you brought up spiritual warfare on this. It took me a long time to realize that that's really a big part of what's going on. Yeah, I was under attack and I didn't even know it. But I think it causes us all to just, with so many things going on in this world, especially today, I get it. I have eyes to see, and the scales, so to speak, have been removed from my eyes, and I can't go back to where I was. This has made me stronger.
Well, I think that is so paramount today to know spiritually. I mean, of course, you need to attack the mold situation in the natural, but man, when we are spiritual beings and when we don't acknowledge that and don't deal with things on a spiritual level, we're just missing the boat, and we're working in our own power. And yes, you can accomplish things in your own strength, but man, I mean, God is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. He says that, and he's not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and of a sound mind. And man, to miss out on that component, I think that we're just missing out on healing that can spur on and facilitate physical healing as well, and just wisdom from heaven on how to deal with this. Well, I did want to ask you, Shemane, so what is life like now for you? Do you mentioned the leather belts and things like that. I mean, can you get back to somewhat like regarding clothing and makeup and hair dye and things like that? I
Yeah.
mean, is life kind of more normal for you now?
I say that I have an 80-20 rule. 80% of what I eat, what I do, the clothes that I wear, how I style my hair, all that stuff is super clean. 20%, not so much. I use hairspray and I get my nails done. Not all the time, not as much as I should, but the little things I've been able, it took me a long time, it took me a year, maybe two, to go back to that. And when I get to the point where I get run down, and we've been traveling a lot, my husband's just finished his last tour. And so he did 42 concerts in 32 days. That means 32 or 42 different cities. So it's unbelievable that physical and emotional stress going through that. So it takes me a while to recover from that. And if I get to the point where I need a reset, I just go back to the basics. I stop, coloring my hair, which I haven't done. You could probably see my gray roots. I kind of take a break from all of that.
Yeah. So you're balancing it all.
Yeah. I think
Yeah.
it's what's really most important. I mean, dude, I love chocolate chip cookies,
Right. Who
I mean, I'm
doesn't?
sorry. I'm not gonna. There was a long time that I didn't have them. And I wish I could say I had the discipline to, be 100% toxin free. And I know there's people on Instagram who are like that. And I do want to find out about your skincare. But,
It's amazing. She's amazing.
I would love to try it. I would love to try it.
Yeah, and what I love about it, it's in glass bottles. So I mean, just not only from the ingredients themselves, but there's no chemical leaching into your product, and so I think that it's just clean, very clean, and especially when you think about your skin too. You don't have your liver to it's going straight into your bloodstream, and it's not getting cleaned out with your liver. So I appreciate that part too. So for folks who are listening today and they're thinking, well, we do have allergies a lot when we're in the home. I mean, what can they do to look for mold? Like, what would be some of the things symptom wise or in their house if they feel like they're getting a little bit more sick while they're in their home? What would be the first step that they could do, and what should they be looking for?
Well, the number one most important thing I think is your intuition. If you think there's a problem, there probably is. If you've had a water leak, if you have a porous substance and lack of ventilation and it goes unchecked, or, we just had a hurricane. I feel for these people that had water in their homes. If it doesn't get out within 72 hours, you will have toxic mold. So what happened to us is we were traveling and we would come home and we just feel exhausted and we couldn't sleep. We go, when my husband used to play in Europe, he performed a concert in Europe or two or whatever. We were in London. I'll never forget. It's a rainy city, but we slept great. We felt great. How you feel is the most important indicator. Like, I could go to a hotel. I don't care if it's wherever, the 5-star plus hotel. If I don't feel good, I will leave. And even with other places too. So I think that's a big indicator. And of course, if you see mushrooms growing on your basement carpeting,
You might have
get
a
it.
problem.
You have a problem. You have a problem.
Yeah. And one thing I wanted to point out also, I wanted to finish with is that you finished talking about hope, and you filled your book with powerful scriptures that provide the truth and strength of God's word. You wrote, quote, "This book is about finding hope for your illness and providing you with resources and information you can utilize and share with others," end quote. Talk to us about how important it was to leave the readers with hope.
I did a book signing in June. I don't like doing them, I'll be honest with you, but I did one in June, and we sold out of like 100 books. It was amazing and again, like I said at the beginning, that it's resonating with people. But several people came up to me with tears in their eyes and just crying because they had lost loved ones to toxic mold. And I've had people, email me and call me, a friend of a friend, a family member, what do I do? And the first thing I say is, you're not going to like what I have to tell you, but I have to be honest. You need to get out. And this gal actually worked for me, and she was helping me do social media. And I saw her on a Zoom call. We were doing a meeting, and I'm like, "Are you feeling okay?" And she's like, "No, I have a migraine." I'm like, "What? Have you tested do you think you have mold?" She goes, "Well, I saw mushrooms growing on my yoga mat." And I went, "You have to get out." She's a single mom, not a lot of income. And I said, "I'm sorry, I will help you." And I did, with some resources, but you have to get out if you want to feel better. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, hope is everything. If you don't have hope and you're sick every day, it's easy to lose hope. So I wanted to end with something that would give readers hope. I'm living proof that the human body has an amazing ability to heal, and you can too.
That's so good. Yeah. And you now are back to teaching and doing a million things that would take 5 normal people to do. So we know that it is possible to remediate your body and get back to health in your body. So, well, I just want to thank you, Shemane, for joining me today. And I want you to order her book, Killer House. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it in 24 to 48 hours, and it's such a nice read. And it's so helpful. And I loved how you shared your story, just some of your personal story before you even got into the information about mold. So order Killer House today on Amazon. And then also you can go to killerhouse.org and connect with Shemane. And you can go to ShemaneNugent.rocks or Apple Podcasts, Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, and we'll have all those links in our content description. And I did notice on killerhouse.org that you are having some type of training coming up that you're going to be providing for people.
Yeah, that's on my bucket list. I'm getting to that. I just got another book deal, and I'm grateful for that. So I'm on a deadline for that. And right now, I'm writing a 40-day women's health devotional. And I'm super excited about that. So I'm going to be doing a training someday, hopefully towards the end of the year, on spiritual warfare training, and also on an in-depth toxic mold recover and remediation online program as well. But I'm getting this book done first.
Wow. And so it wasn't enough just to do Killer House. She's really helping us, people. So go get this book, support her, but and most importantly, find health. And also go to her website, killerhouse.org. I just was reviewing it earlier. There are lots of videos and helpful pieces of information on there. So check that out too. And we would love to get connected with you. If you go to momsonamission.net and fill out your information, we can get connected with you there. And as always, if you have questions or comments, email us at moms@momsonamission.net. That's moms@momsonamission.net. And please follow us on your favorite platform. And thanks for listening. In light of recent bank volatility and skyrocketing inflation, diversification is a must. That's why I use my good friend Andrew Sorcini at Beverly Hills Precious Metals. Beverly Hills Precious Metals makes it so easy to diversify. I personally ordered some silver and it arrived on my doorstep just a few days later. They make it so easy. And if you're not ready to do that and you just want to ask a few questions, they're there for you too. I personally got some silver and also am rolling over some of my IRA. You can actually roll over your IRA and have it be backed by silver and gold. So if you don't have any extra money to invest in silver and gold, rolling over a 401k or an IRA, or even part of it, if you just want to try it at first, just for a little bit, you can do that as well. So go to bh-pm.com today and ask all your questions. You can connect with somebody. And like I said, you can just get some information at first if you want and pray about it, and then get back with them to roll over part of your IRA or all of it, or order some gold and silver. That's bh-pm.com. and tell them that Moms on a Mission sent you. Hey, everybody. Did you know that recent research from the CDC says that millions of Americans develop parasitic infections and symptoms often go unnoticed or are misdiagnosed? Parasites are actually the cause of many health problems such as anxiety, depression, chronic pain, fatigue, and unexplained digestive issues. We all need a common sense strategy to improve our health. Moms on a Mission encourages you to reach out to our good friend, Dr. Jason Dean. Dr. Dean's Full Moon Protocol provides all natural detoxification and fights inflammation. And the supplements are made with 100% organic ingredients and are proven to kill parasites safely and effectively. I know after I took Full Moon Protocol, I had more energy. To order your Full Moon Protocol today, go to bravetv.store/mission to save $20 off your first order. That's bravetv.store/mission. According to leading sleep experts and sleephealth.org, over 50 million Americans struggle getting a good night's rest. That's why Moms on a Mission loves MyPillow. MyPillow makes amazing pillows, sheets, mattress toppers, robes, towels, literally almost everything you need for a good night's sleep. They also make dog beds for your dogs. So by going to mypillow.com, typing in the code MISSION, you not only receive a high quality product, but you're supporting Moms on a Mission and this podcast. If you like what you're hearing and you agree with it, you believe in it, and you want to support Moms on a Mission, then go to mypillow.com today and order some high quality products and just type in the code MISSION at checkout and you can save up to 66% off. That's mypillow.com, code MISSION.
Since 2014, Organic Body Essentials has offered clean, simple, certified organic skincare. Our organic face-to-feet and federally compliant hemp and pet products are manufactured under USDA and FDA guidelines. Our products are inspired by God using plants He created. In Ezekiel 47:12, it says, "The fruit is for food and the leaves for healing." We believe in the power of God to heal, so we pray over our products and for our customers. Our therapy in a bottle approach has been widely received, and our customers' testimonials continue to inspire us. You can find us at organicbodyessentials.com and obe.organicbodyessentials.com. Please feel welcome to reach out with questions. Use coupon code MISSION at checkout for a discount. Thank you for your support by using MISSION at checkout to benefit Moms on a Mission and their quest to reestablish traditional values in our education system and empowerment for a healthy lifestyle.